Hi, welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Global Athletics and powered by the Raleigh Athletic Booster Club. I'm your host, Tom Brown. Today we got Coach Killer Miller
Yes,
with
sir.
us from the Bulldogs
Always,
basketball program.
always good to be with you, Tommy, man. Even when I'm feeling puny, man. We've been sitting here talking for way too long already before we ever started this, and we got to catch up like that more often.
Definitely. Got the a little tough right now with the weather changes going on. Got things happening, and again, plus there's also that after a season ends, there's that whole thing that happens to your body where all of a sudden your body just kind of goes,
I can vouch for that.
and the extra sleep that comes in and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is a challenging time of year. The great thing, kids, um, they really feel it just as much. But the great thing, kids are so resilient, man, and a lot of our guys have things to move on to for another sport. Um, a lot of those guys have already been in touch with me and said, "Coach, when are we starting up open gyms? I'm ready to roll next year." Um, a lot of guys. There's actually had a couple of guys trying to figure out, man, what am I going to do now? Because this has been my life, every day. And it's a sad way to see our season come to an end. But I tell you what, uh, you know, E-Train had a coach there watching him the other night from Northern Iowa, Coach PJ, and he said, "Can't be defined by a single game. You got to look at the body of work and the work our guys had this year. The guys really had a darn good season, and should be very pleased with what they accomplished."
Oh, definitely. 23-6, they ended up. And again, you always hate this conversation. I knew we were going to be talking, but I honestly thought it was about prepping for the next stage.
You and me both, buddy.
That was my plans. I said I did not have any exit strategy outside of advancing to the Final Four.
And I think that I wasn't any more confident that we were going to be having that conversation than at the end of the first period of that last game. I mean, how incredible, how crazy was that? We're playing great, and then Ethan just puts an exclamation point on it with the monster jam.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah.
I've told a lot of people, and mentioned this to you, that they came off that floor after that done at the end of the fifth period, and I don't think any of them had their feet hitting the floor. They were floating off the floor. They were so excited.
And you're right. It was 23-12. I'm going to show a couple things here just for people that maybe weren't at the game. This was the sixth man. The sixth man was on point.
What a situation! It was awesome.
Oh, it was incredible. And they're talking to him, saying, "Hey, we've got to have a big crowd. We have to have it rowdy." They were on point all night. It was something to behold. It was maroon out. I mean, they painted themselves. It was just a great feel, great atmosphere.
It was.
But it wasn't just the sixth man. You had the entire crowd. I mean, from all over. I mean, and this is the side away from the bench. Well, this crowd wasn't as big as we used to get when we used to split up the thing. I mean, we just dominated the crowd, and over behind the bench was just all the way up to the rafters on both of them. Coach Booth there, we were talking about beforehand. He was energizing people. He was hanging out with the sixth man. Hanging out with them, getting the crowd energized.
Coach Booth, we're going to have to find a way to get him back out here and be in charge of something like that. Because I mean, when a guy takes over that situation and can get things rolling the way he did with our fans, man, he and I are going to talk.
Yeah. I tell you, it was exciting. Coach Joe for Hawaii said on his way out, he goes, "That was the loudest gym we played in." A couple of the parents we were talking to as well.
Tom, it's that's not uncommon. It's every referee that I talk to, every opposing coach, they're all just like, this is the best environment that we come to, and it is. It's Raleigh community.
That was without our band.
Yes, exactly.
And they tried to get here for that game, and they're like, "Well, we can't do it. You have to put all these things in place." But
there is no way there wouldn't have been enough room for it.
Just
set up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was jam packed.
So I'm going to try and play a video. Hopefully the sound all comes through, just so you can kind of capture what it was like. And the video still doesn't do it justice because it's coming from just off of a microphone, how loud it actually was. And this happens to be the dunk that you're talking about. Tony Taylor, jumping up, trying to see the crowd all the way around, and see the way it was. There's people on the walking track up there the entire
Yeah.
day, and so
So Tom, I wish you could, this is great. We've got this angle to see that. I wish you could see it from higher. I mean, there is so much excitement. There's so much, I mean, the guys were just so amped and so happy. And, uh, that's what I'm out here for. I love to see, uh, I love to see the love that those guys are sharing. And that, to that point, we had a slogan, show the love. We started, that's our slogan, show the love, because um, it's so important that, our world today is just in need of some of that good, clean, pure fun like that. And the love that those guys show for one another. Uh, yeah, we were ready to post that on the back of a shirt too.
yeah. Man,
It's
it was great environment, great thing. Ethan was talking about with some of the kids. Our youth program was all lined up as they're leaving. And it's tough when you got tears, you're
Yeah.
losing it, and you're trying to keep it. And here they are, and they don't understand. They probably didn't even know he was crying. They just wanted to be there for him. And he goes, it's one of those where you kind of give the head bump and give the fist pound and give the head nod and kind of go through that, and then you know that there's going to be another time to come back around. But he goes, it was so important to see the kids there as well as part of that for them to experience.
it's that's a tough conversation at the end of that game. Go in the locker room, and we're all hurting. And the thing we try to tell them is, hey, this is not who we are. You've got a body of work that says a whole lot more. And then here's the other thing, and this is the truth about these guys. I mean, that you've got people out there that love you and really think a lot about you, and you need to go out there and let them love on you, because that's what time it is. Me myself, I had so many friends here, friends from out of town. Uh, we had a friend of ours that is a server over at Emos, and she came over and was there with Cindy watching the game. And fortunately, she went to dinner with us afterwards, because we'd have been down and out without some of that extra motivation that Peyton gave us. So, it was just an incredible evening, a high beyond what you can imagine, and then a low that's just gut wrenching. And it's tough.
I was talking to Coach Hauk yesterday in our Inside the Huddle episode, talking about breathing, and there's the power of breathing, and that's what it is. You have an expectation in your mind, you're
Yes.
expecting the wind to advance, and then when it doesn't, you struggle with that and how to address that. It's always been, and it hasn't changed. And I told him, I can still remember losing that last game, or losing every district game. We actually played at ST in a sectional game one time and lost to the team that got the second state. But I remember every one of those games and the feeling they have and that emptiness.
Yeah.
And it's the same that I have for my
Talking about
kids.
with Iberia?
Yeah,
Nice. I didn't know that guy, boy. Yeah, let's
We
go.
had a big crowd, but you feel that, and it's still there, and
Yeah.
it's all, and it's familiar. And so you look at the kids, and they're going through it, and they all deal with it differently. And
Well, and I want to say about the way they deal with things, and I just want this out there so that I think our community knows. But our guys, everywhere we go, our guys are always complimented by the way they handle themselves, by just the kind things that they do. And this is a very special group in many ways. And I just, man, you try to tell them how proud you are of them. It just seems to lack a little bit. There's just no way to express how much I think of them. Coach Vineyard, uh, Coach Shannon, Coach Mike. I mean, this is a tough one on us too.
well, then especially tough when you have your seniors. You got John Papadakos played his last game, and then he was the only senior. Or then you had Landon Persicki, and I'll talk about him in a second. Austin Long, and then Joe Foster again having a double injury this year, the start and stop of the season. Just tough on him. Then poor Tyler Litz never had that
T.
opportunity.
Little never got to get started either.
Yeah, and then so it's always tough on that for them. But the reason I bring that up is Ethan said, he goes, you're kind of going through your goodbyes to everybody at the end of the season, and he goes, everything's, he's dealing with it, and he goes, and then there's Lando.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I just broke down all over again with him.
Yeah.
Because, again, he was he was so involved.
Yes.
with the team. And it's not that the other ones were too. I'm just saying, but that smile on his face, that constant, he
He is.
just liked being there.
He was. Man, I think I was going to have to start feeling these feelings.
Sorry to
Yeah,
bring it back up.
but I'm going to tell you, Lando is just so inspirational in many ways, and to me, I've shared his story before. You know, he went out as a seventh grader, didn't make it. Same thing as an eighth grader, snagged a spot on the freshman team, hardly played. Same deal as a sophomore. He just hung in there and kept battling and kept improving and managed to make his way onto a team that had a chance to win a district championship here, you know, and he's he's somebody that inspires me, yeah, because um, not all of us have the ability like an E-train, but man, when you've got that just stick to itiveness like Landon, that'll help, and you know, out there in life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a great translator for everything else. Um, don't know if we need to talk any more about the highest game. You know, that was a tough one.
Well,
Yeah,
let me say a little bit about that. So, that as high as that was when Train threw that thing down, I almost, as we go back out there, it went through my head, man, we are so amped. Do do we have anything left? And to be honest with you, it looked like that emotion and everything that was put into that gassed us.
yeah,
And we had a tough second quarter, and that was really where the difference in the game was. But uh, it's just it's an interesting game, and our guys, even though they didn't have much in the tank to battle the rest of the game, you got to see there at the
yeah,
end
yeah.
the fight and the grit. They just kept battling and kept battling, and we didn't execute the what we had set up to run at the end, but um, we gave ourselves an opportunity.
And again, in those type of games, that's all you can ask for. You know, I was going back looking at the numbers, and everything was we dominated most of the stat lines. They shot a little better from three, but we shot a lot better from two. The one thing was that those rebounds,
Rebounding,
17 offensive rebounds that resulted in a 20 second chance point
yeah,
versus our 10. And it was those things where they just got them.
yeah, it kept going,
Yeah,
bing, bing, bing,
yeah,
bing, bing,
yeah.
and it ended up with
Yeah.
them. You know, it wasn't that we weren't trying.
We also talked about, they're a team that took a while to get going because they're all, vast majority play football, and they look like,
Yeah,
where we don't quite have that same physique besides Murph out there with his, thighs on his
yeah,
arms that he
yeah, true.
has. He had a great physical game inside there, bang around on the big boy for Elias. So, Alex Wood, I mean, he's a big kid, strong kid, great battle inside. Um, but that's a tough one, and that gets wore down, and their ability to get back up, just be so physical with that, is one of those things I'm sure is going to be probably on the radar for this
Oh yeah,
offseason.
yeah, and our plus I want to give Coach Smith, vice vice principal Smith, I should say, credit, and he's really helping us to establish a better situation for weight training and conditioning going forward, and I think that it's going to be set up in a manner that there's not going to be as much separation. I'm hoping that it is a deal that it's going to motivate them all to come together as a big group, and not just our basketball group, the whole school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how that helps.
Well, last year, football season, we did one of our episodes in the new weight room
Yeah.
down there just because of wanted to take a look at it, see it. I mean,
Sweet.
yeah, it's nice, and it's so much more than just a weight room now. There's other things you can be doing in there again to complement all sports.
Yeah.
And so not everything has to be power weights, but how you use them. And yeah, it's exciting because I think all the sport programs will benefit from that.
Yeah.
A healthy way of getting strong.
And we've got so Mr. Smith came from Kickapoo, and he had a bird's eye view. Yeah, I don't think Kickapoo, but he had a bird's eye view of a good situation there with how it worked throughout the school, and he's offered that information here. And we've got other guys that are going to be giving input. We've got a meeting Monday morning that's it's nothing but we're going to give our input as to how to make this happen and bring everybody together and really improve our conditioning and weight training.
That's great. And again, having that one program, regardless of the sport, an athletic program,
Yeah.
that's great. So, yeah, season's done. You know, it's what it is. But now we got next year, and now it's a little too early to start talking about it. But I never think it is. So you got 4 starters returning, and you got rotation people on the bench that were key parts, some were contributors. You had some juniors that were on JV just because of the sheer numbers of what we
Yeah.
had that would come in and get some opportunities, but not as much as they would like. But now we have them, and you have Nathan Richter, who wasn't able to play on the varsity this year for transfer things. So now you got he'll be part of that. I mean, we're gonna have a big group. You got some sophomores gonna be looking to get time. So I know as we've talked, there's a lot to be excited about.
Hey, there's no doubt. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. Forgive me, but my throat is.
Well, yeah. Well, how about this? I'm gonna get my call a bulldog take your.
I don't know if the allergies are hitting me or what. They're really scruffy. Gosh, to look at what we may have had as far as depth going into this season, it was beyond belief. You know, something that nobody has even talked about really is we had an addition shortly after entering into our season of a 6'8", 6'9" guy by the name of Jaden Johnson, who was a freshman and would have been probably a starter on our JV team. And if he improved the way it looked, I mean, phenomenal ceiling. This is a guy that somebody is going to be talking about all over.
Yeah.
So he moved away. Family situation caused him to move away. But then, you know, James Sheck came out of our offseason last year and was really showing some good things. And he never got a chance to really get going because of breaking a tibia type of bone or something. And he was out for a long time. T. Little, Tyler Litz, who knows where he would have ended up, you know, in our lineup. It certainly was going to be probably top 8. And then Joe getting hurt early, just not able to come back full. Gosh, the depth and Landon Richter, who moved over. We thought we were going to have him, and then his transfer ended up just letting him play JV. And so we lose 5 seniors, but we do return a lot of quality. Not only starters, but guys that came off the bench on varsity and guys that played strictly JV that step into some roles.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as it goes. Kind of the same thing we talked about this year was, wow, I mean, your coaching job is going to be about how do you find minutes for everybody to keep it gelling, to keep it going, and find those opportunities. And you're really looking at the same thing next year just because of the amount of talent that's in your program right now.
Yeah, that's part of our show the love slogan, because you know you can do all you can to try and mix minutes and get guys in as much as you can, but your guys have to have an understanding of what what he's got to deal with, and we talk about the feeling of when you get taken off in a game and you've just made mistakes and coach is pulling you off. You got to show the love to coach then. Show the love to your teammate that's coming onto the floor at that point. Teammate that's coming on the floor. Show the love to that kid coming off. And you know, that's a good situation to have. Lots of players, as long as those guys, their families, understand what we're trying to do, and that we're trying to, you know, we want a happy family.
Well, I tell you that you know, Lori Beckman, she does the pictures and everything.
Yeah, she does a great job.
And she likes to zoom in and get the actions for the faces, and so everything she does is pretty much from a zoom perspective to catch the player. But she's done some of those on the bench too, where she's captured the excitement of the interaction between the players, the interaction between the players and the coaches, the celebrations. It's always one of my favorite ones as you go through there and you find those and you see the raw emotion, which hits really well with the share the love.
Yeah, it's we got good guys, man, and they, for the situation that they got to go through this year, we saw major growth. Anytime you're trying to change something inside of you, uh, to uh, maybe be a little more caring, a little more kind, show a teammate some love. Anytime you're trying to change something in yourself like that, it's not an easy deal. And because you don't just, the easy answer is yes, that's how I want to be. But then you got to blend in that you're a competitor.
Yeah.
With the fire flowing through you. If it's not, then we're probably not having you out there on the floor because that's who we need out there. And then you've made a mistake or two. You're coming off the floor. Coach is correcting you. It's it's a situation that I really love, and at the same time, it's kind of painful. Just because not everybody always understands what you're trying to do.
No, it's tough. It's tough, especially when you're teenage kids with it. It's hard enough as adults.
Yes.
But even with the teenage kids, then to have that. But you're right. It's how do you take it, how you respond to it, and that's there's a difference between reacting and responding, right? So reaction is something that's involuntary.
Yep.
It's emotional. It happens. A response is a decision you make, and so you got to choose: am I going to react? Am I going to respond? And I think that's one that's.
I got a leadership meeting that you ought to talk about that kind of stuff.
Hey, interesting. Certainly, we're out there for you. Everything you need. So we'll talk in June about kind of the shootouts and stuff coming up. But I assume you got your shootout schedules all kind of ready to go.
Yeah, we're so a little shout out to Chris Foster, the dad of 3 guys that have been through the program. Chris Foster has gone above and beyond. He's gotten us that church bus to travel during our off season, and it's saved us a ton of money. I used to, prior to Chris, I would have to rent a charter bus to take many guys and put them in the team situation, which is very important. And Chris has just gone above and beyond. He is Joe is graduating, and so Chris is going to probably step back, and we've got to find a way to take care of that additional cost. And so that's our biggest. We know what we want to go do. We'll throw it around between the guys and their parents and see how we can make it happen. And we've got a camp fund that we can access. So yeah, we'll be ready to roll. I know the guys are. They're already hitting me up. The guys have been fantastic. I couldn't tell you how much encouragement and love and just, I mean, I bet I've heard from 150 people or so just wanting to say, hey, this is tough, but man, we love what you guys did, and we love that you're going forward. And I'm just, it's hard to go through this situation with a bunch of guys that I love so much, and I guess maybe I'm kind of splattering a lot of things out here, but one thing going forward that I hope that we can really do is these guys have come up through the ranks so skilled, so good, with so many expectations on them. And in talking with Coach PJ, I was just like, I did my best to try and talk to them about, let's stay in the moment. Let's just play in this. Let's don't look beyond anything here, because they're so good. These guys have their own expectations. Our community has expectations for them, their families. But let's just play every game, and let's try to win every game and have fun while we're doing it. And then we'll look back and we're going to be thankful for all that we get to look back on.
Well, I was back in 6th grade with a group of juniors. We had it was one of those where our expectation was like, hey, state title, state title, state title. And so I've actually written several blogs on this subject because we had the wrong goal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about the state title. It was about, we wanted them each to reach their potential.
Mm.
And if their potential is and if it's in the cards,
right,
the title will come.
Yeah, boy, that's well said.
Yeah, it has to come down to how do we have each kid evolve to hit their potential, to be the type of person we want them to be. And with that, then they'll stay with it, or they won't. Maybe they choose to go a different path, and that's fine. But in the end, that we have our opportunity in that position, and we'll take care of it. So that was kind of the push, and we had this kind of a big come together to talk about it because we realized that, you know, what we were ended up doing is we're measuring on these wins and losses that really weren't about the wins and losses, about that process we're going through. So yeah,
100%.
said that. Yeah, it was a great time back then to understand that. It was kind of like a, you know, kind of that chance for us as adults to kind of step back and say, let's put this all in perspective for them, because we were putting undue pressure on the kids.
Yeah.
And didn't even realize it.
And there were no intentions
Yeah,
of that.
no,
There,
all best intentions.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then there's also expectations that we put on ourselves as a coaching staff, as players, as a team. You know, we've got those already that we really expect a lot. But I tell you, we're going to have a big push for every game. It's at the top of our board. Play hard, have fun, and you know, E-Train's one of the best players he is probably the best player we've ever had here at the school. And is he going to go on and play in the NBA? We'll see. How good are the odds of him doing that? It's pretty challenging. Has he got the drive to do it? Yeah. But at the end of the day, even E-Train and everybody, let's play hard and have fun. Let's have fun. You're going to look back on it and you're going to love all these guys. You'll talk about these things for a lifetime. And so that's our goal, is to help them stay in the moment and stay focused on what's in front of them.
That's great. Yeah, that'll be great, especially with the offseason coming up, everything else.
Yeah.
Lays that framework going forward. Well, before we get out of here, let's take a look at some of our sponsors. Always appreciate them as always. Andrew Reese, MVP Apparel, does a great job. Get the old gear coming in. Appreciate that. Dan Collier, not just a good neighbor, he's a great neighbor.
Yep.
Over at State Farm, appreciate everything he does. Phelps County Bank, 100% employee owned. Bankers by day, Bulldog fans by night. Again, a lot of them were in the crowd and had to change out their PCB blue for some maroon,
Sure.
but it was still great to see. Kobe Wan Skills Academy does a great job. Ethan was just talking about that last night. Kobe and I got to get hooked back up and start going. And
we're going to have a long list for Kobe.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of guys that not only do we want him in there with him getting some skills work done, and it's more than skills. The way Kobe works with guys, it's conditioning too.
Yep.
And so we've got a bunch of guys that we've got lined up, and those guys want it too.
Yeah. You say to play hard, play and have fun. That is him. I would go pick up Ethan. Ethan would be completely soaked with a huge smile on his face when he comes out of there. Just absolutely loves it.
That was Kobe Wan.
Yeah, yeah.
When he played, I remember the way my son was my point guard before Kobe.
Yeah.
Had a smile on his face all the time. Played hard. Kobe Wan comes along, and same deal.
Yep.
I love that about him.
Yeah, it's a great guy. Appreciate everything he does. And then also going to throw out there Jackie Morozowitz in full bloom. She does the balloon decor, backdrop rental. So you see it at all the senior signings, a lot of events we've had here around town. We used her at Zach's wedding. So
Jackie's a sweetheart.
Jackie gets it done.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great stuff that she does. So appreciate everything.
Thanks, Tony Froelich, from me.
Tony
Froelich,
yeah.
For us, man.
You throw the toss-out shirts. A lot of those shirts going around this year and everything.
Good dude. Always helpful.
Yeah, he was willing to kind of chat before each of the games and everything like that. So, last question, which I don't know how comfortable you are answering this or not.
I'll answer it.
So, so tonight is the game that we anticipated playing in, and so Parkview is driving up to Elias to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Who is punching their ticket to go to Mizzou in the Final Four?
So, I think it's a team that's as hot as Elias is a difficult one to look away from. They're hot. They've got the pieces. They can shoot it. They really junk things up defensively, make it an awkward game offensively most of the time. And Jack Simpson can coach up his guys there at Parkview, and he's got some athletes. I'm friends with both of them, and so I'm gonna say I'm not gonna bag out and just not give you an answer. I'm gonna say we'll see. Forgive me, Jack, but I think Elias is pretty hot.
Pretty hot, and they're home.
Yeah.
Tough to live. Get that up there. Yeah, I was wondering about the same thing. Parkview's we got a nice little small, quick point guard that's super quick. You got to wonder how well they're.
We saw him
they're
in
teaching.
summer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's yeah.
He can get after it. So yeah, it's gonna be good. All right. Well,
Are you going to that game?
yeah, no.
Yeah, no, me
So
either.
it used to be that we would always go to those games,
Right.
the Final Four. Once my kids started playing,
Yeah,
they have all refused
yeah.
to go to any games after the fact because they're so
I get it.
upset. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'm on the board to
Yeah.
Missouri Basketball
Yeah.
Association, so I have to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah. No, because that was always the tradition. We always did it. Then it's like, yeah. Then after when they played, they refused to go when it's their season. So I understand. I was trying to talk to Ethan about it. Same thing. We might watch them on TV.
Yeah.
Coach, congratulations on another great season.
Thank you for all your support, not just with this, but just as a dude. I've been friends forever, and I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, no, thanks for everything.
And thanks
Appreciate
for the 3 boys.
it. Yeah, hey, we throw those things out there. That's
You
what we
didn't
do.
do any more about that. Why, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. We were looking through some adoption papers.
There
trying to
we
find
go.
a special one, but had no such luck. No, I appreciate everything. Good luck in the off season coming up, and next year we'll be looking for a bigger, better thing.
We'll go take care of them.
All right. So for Coach Mark Miller, I'm Tom Brown from Inside the Huddle, the heart of the game. We'll see you next time.